Okay. I just did a little sound check, so hopefully you guys can hear me. I feel like I've wanted to, I don't know if particularly to make this video for a long time or how I wanted to do it, but I feel like I've just been wanting to share my story. And it's funny because, being online and like having online friends and not really real life friends, it's like I didn't have to hear a lot of second opinions. I kind of just would always post stuff and just be my weird, honest self online. And then when you meet people that don't post their life online, they're like, oh, like I wouldn't post that, or oh, I wouldn't do that. And it's just like, why am I going to, first of all, shy away from like what I've always done, which is just be me online and share my story. And I think that people like when I do, and I feel like I lack a lot of confidence and I have a lot of insecurities, but I do feel confident to share. I feel like that's one thing I do feel confident is sharing my stories online, because it's my honest truth, my honest story, and what I've been through. So, anyways, we're gonna talk about like relationships and narcissist is definitely something that's new to me, and I'm still learning about it and learning exactly what it means. But I went through, since I've been 22, I'm not going to go through all my relationships right now, but since I've been 22, so I've already, I've shared this before, that I moved out at 17. I didn't know where I was going to live. I was looking at shacks on Craigslist. I lived with my grandparents for a little bit, but it wasn't like something that I was going to stay, like it was known but not said that I couldn't stay there indefinitely. It was just like, okay, this is temporary until you find out where you're going to go. And then I was like looking at people's like connected homes and on Craigslist and going and meeting literally strangers at 17 while other people are partying. I'm working 3 jobs, going to school and figuring out that. And then I just broke down one day to my brother, and I was like, I don't know where. I literally remember crying in the Red Robin parking lot, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know where I'm going to live. And then he was like, okay, him and his girlfriend were living together in a bedroom plus a bedroom plus an office. So I moved into the office, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was in Irvine. Like, it was nice, and I lived with them there for a little bit, and then we got a condo and lived there for 2 years. So at this point, I think I'm like 21. Yeah, I think I'm 21 at the end of my brother and his girlfriend all living together. And there's so much stuff that even happened in between there, but that's for another time. And because obviously 17 to 22, that's like a lot of life has happened. And then I finally I would say I got my own place at about 22. And like I wasn't sure if I was going to get it, and I was just waiting on the approval, because if I didn't get approved for that apartment, it kind of was like, okay, I'm probably going to have to live with my uncle and his wife or just figure it out. But anyways, I got approved, and then 6 months into living there, I was living on my own. I wasn't dating anybody. I was single for like a couple years, maybe 2-3 years. And then 6 months into living there at 22 is when I was in my back-to-back relationships, and I haven't been really single for a long period of time since I was 22, and I'm 26 now. And that first year and a half relationship was not the first abusive relationship I was in, but definitely like my first experience at a narcissist, and I didn't know that at the time. I think we broke up like 8+ times, and I finally got out of that relationship. Got another relationship right after that, a year and a half. That was better, but it was still not. It just a lot of verbal abuse and whatever. And then I was single, and then a few months after I got met somebody else, and I'm probably like 25, turning 26 at this time. And that's the relationship that I want to talk about. Was this my most recent one? And I feel like this is going to be, hopefully it's not a lot of rambling on. I haven't even really processed it. I haven't processed it. I just started back therapy. I haven't been to therapy. I started therapy last year, November of 2024. Um, and and I was going like once a week. It was definitely helping me. And then as soon as I stopped going to therapy is when I met this person. And I was literally in and out of a relationship until the next time I restarted therapy. And then I stopped therapy again. And then I got back with this person. And then I hadn't been to therapy since I left them again. So stay in therapy. um, anyways, I just started therapy this Monday to kind of start processing it. But so dating a narcissist and being in a very abusive relationship, I've really like blocked out a lot of it, and a lot of it is honestly, it just feels like I blacked out. And unless I go through like pictures and text and timeline on my phone, and I honestly kind of wrote down a timeline myself in a journal. Is it this journal? I don't know if it's just journal. No, it's not. Then it's kind of hard to remember things, but basically I was with this person. I met this person and we were together for 3 weeks, and they were the most amazing person ever. Literally felt like they swept me off my feet, but literally the first time we went out, there was already red flags that like I didn't see. And one of them being that, not even necessarily red flag, but more so like we went on, well, I went out to his club that he worked at, and he was like, oh, like, get your friend drinks, like, I'm gonna get you drinks, and then literally was like, oh, like, give me your card. I was like, what? Like, I didn't even, like, think twice about it, and then they needed my card to pay for said drinks, which is like, okay, you're making it seem like you're gonna get us all these drinks and this all these, take care of us, and then you need my card to do it, okay. And then I already knew, I think at that point, I don't think I knew yet of their financial situation too deeply. And then we went on like a quote first date that they wanted to take me to, and then I paid for it. Like I was the one paying for the first date that he took me on. Anyways, and then I think it was probably after that, like they literally like kind of moved in with me, like were basically staying with me for 3 weeks. And the thing that like messed me up so much about it is that they like did everything for me. I'd wake up and they were cleaning my ceilings. I'd wake, like, you know, if I wasn't awake, they'd take my dog out. They're like, oh, I want to take care of your dog, I want to bring him steak, I want to do all these things. Like literally I wouldn't like lift a finger and they would like do all these things for me. And like never talked down to me. Were so supportive of like my bodybuilding at the time and working out, and you know, and essentially it was like, okay, like they were doing all these free things, carrying my bags, opening a door, you know, helping me fix stuff, like doing things that I haven't experienced that level of chivalry before. So I literally was like swept off my feet by that. But again, like they started living with me for those 3 weeks we were together, and I was getting up at 4 a.m. to make their food for work, letting them borrow my car. So I was Ubering home from work at 2 a.m. I was paying for all the food. I was the one paying for everything, but it was like, because, you know, they couldn't afford it. They were paying child support, whatever the fucking situation was. So I was paying for everything, but they were being chivalrous, opening a fucking door for me. And so it just was like, it felt, I, at the time, literally thought it felt like a fairy tale. Because I'd never had someone go out of their way to open a fucking door for me. Oh my god, it's so really pathetic when you think about it. Oh my god. So yeah, and then when we broke up, because they said that, and it's sad because I probably wouldn't have left, but I think the only credit I can give them is that they knew they were using me, and they've used people all their life, and they were like, I don't want to use you. So they decided to leave, And that literally broke me. Like, I cried so, I have not cried over a fucking guy like that, and I don't even know when. And it broke me, and I was really sad about it. And it was like right before my bodybuilding competition too, and like I almost wanted, like it just almost made me want to just binge eat and like just just fuck everything. But I bossed up, and then I started talking to a different guy, which for like a little bit, and they were grade A love bomber. Like, I got so many, you guys, I have way too many fucking stories. I need to just, I don't know what the fuck, need therapy, and I'm in therapy, so take that for what you will. But anyways, so we broke up, and then they were calling me on blocked caller for like at least once a week, it felt like, and I never answered. And then when I finally turned pro and stopped talking to that other person that I was temporarily talking to for a few weeks, because they were fucking crazy, and then I finally answered their call again, and essentially when we were together, fairy tale, never yelled at me, never put a hand on me, just loved me, loved my dog, just wanted to do everything that they could for me because they couldn't pay for shit. So if they had to freaking if they cleaned my apartment, did my dishes, fixed my fucking whatever, it just was like, oh my God, even though, again, I was Ubering home from work at 2 a.m., they were borrowing my car, I probably sent them a little bit of money at that time, whatever. And so then it was a few months, I don't even know, 2 months maybe that we didn't talk, 3 months maybe at max. Then I finally answered their call, and essentially the only reason I took them back is because they were like, I got a new job. This is how, like literally laid it out, like wrote it out for me. This is how much I make. Like, this is when I get paid. This is how much I can afford. Like, just gave me the blueprint of like, this is how I'm gonna now be able to take care of you. And I stupidly took them back. But I didn't know it at the time that it would have been the worst decision that I've almost ever made in my life. And so it just was just 0 to 100 with this person, and I feel like in a lot of relationships it is like I'm very just like all in, and I want to do everything for them right off the bat. I want to literally like do everything a mother would do, but not like mother you know what I mean, which is just like, I just want to make sure you're fed, make sure you fucking wiped your ass today, like I just like I just want to take care of my person in probably ways that I want to be taken care of, but I never got it reciprocated, and it just takes me a while to realize like, oh, like, you know. Anyways, got back together. They got a job. They were working. They had their own transportation for a little bit. No, they did. They had their own transportation. And so they moved in with me again quickly after. And literally, I think this was probably July. I turned pro July 20, like the end of July. So August is probably when we got together. September, October. So September, October, November. No. We literally were only together, I think August, September, October. 3 months. 3 months we were together. And this person managed to flip my life completely upside down in those 3 months, and I managed to allow it. So we got back together, and they moved in with me, and everything was sunshines and rainbows. They were working their like actual quote 9-to-5 job, getting a steady paycheck. They were living with someone, like a family member at this time, and then they told me, they're like, I'm gonna move in with you, I'm gonna take care of you. And I think what I'm realizing, and what I realize about myself, is that for the longest time, I haven't put myself in a position, because anytime I've been in a relationship, I feel like I fuck myself over because I'm supporting them, so I keep putting myself in a bad financial position. And at this point of them being like, I can take care of you, I can pay this, I like latch on to that, and then I will accept, like, it's like they're dangling a piece of candy in front of me that I don't have, and I'm like, I want it, I need it, because I haven't got that candy myself. So they can offer me just like the bare minimum, and I'll jump at it because I haven't even done the bare minimum for myself. And so then they were like, they're gonna move in with me, start paying for stuff, and I was excited. And then they were like, okay, no, like I think I'm gonna stay here for a little bit, figure it out. And then I got upset because it was like, you told me one thing, but now you're doing that. But then I sat on it for a day and I was like, you know what? It's fine. That's probably is for the best. You're right. Is that a doggy? Is that a doggy? Is that a doggy? Hi. Is that a doggy? And then get your bum. Is that a doggy? I know. And then so so I got upset and then I was like, you know what, I understand if you can't move it. And you know what, it probably is for the best. I still need to work on me, you need to work on you. And then they were like, no, fuck it, like I'm gonna move in. And then and then they ended up moving in again. And then everything was fine. This is honestly, it got so blurry so fast, and it was good. For the first couple of weeks, I got them a job back because they have a history of just getting fired and not being able to keep a job. And I got them a job back up where they were because I knew their manager, and I talked so highly about them, and I was like literally begging. And then where I can pinpoint is where everything went down is that essentially everything was good, everything was normal. They weren't mean to me. Got them a job back. They're making money. I helped them start their own little business. I financed it. And then I also financed a motorcycle for them because, again, like, they were so amazing to me still to this point. And they were like setting up this fairy tale life, and they loved riding motorcycles, and they're like, oh, I'll be so happy. Like, it'll help us. I'll have my own transportation. Like, we'll go on rides. Like, we'll do this, we'll do that. Like, you have good credit. It'll be so easy, no stress. Like, we'll just be living this fairy tale life. I'll take care of you. Like, da-da-da-da, right? Okay, so up until this point, they're still working their 9 to 5. I got them a job back at where they were working before. And then they're so nice to me. And I was like, you know what? We went down there to the motorcycle, and I was very hesitant, and I was questioning the guy. And the guy was like literally sweating because he was nervous, and he could tell that I was just questioning him and that I was unsure about this $30,000 motorcycle that I was about to put under my name. And then we did that. It was still so amazing. And then they were like, this is how I'm going to make the payments. This is how much I make for this. And then literally after I put that motorcycle under my name is like when my life shifted completely upside down. And from that point on, they didn't even want to lift a finger for me. They didn't want to do anything around the house. They hated my dog, threatened to kill my dog, threatened to kill me. It got to that point. Hated my bodybuilding, hated how I looked, hated the amount of muscle I had. Never wanted to compliment me. I literally remember them saying, like, you know how attractive you are, like, why am I going to compliment you? A lot of you can't wear that. And a lot of drinking started happening again, and a lot of illegal substances just happening. But I was drinking, and I've never drank that much, but I think there was just I needed to get through the abuse, and it was just so fun when we drank, and it literally were having like Buzzball Beatbox Superset on a regular fucking basis. And I was hardly working. I didn't touch a weight. I didn't touch a weight literally for like the whole like 3 months we were together. But we were like running and stuff. But yeah, we were drinking on a regular basis. I was basically still paying for everything because even though they were making some money, like it didn't ever pay back the amount of money I had already lent them, already spent on us, you know. Even though they literally were like, I gave you this much, I think you this. It's like, okay, but you've already spent this much, you know. It was like, you're always going to be hundreds of dollars, close to being in the thousands, like, because I've spent so much on us. Anyways, so yeah, after I put that motorcycle under my name, they turned into a human being that I had never met. They told me of a history that they had of how they were in past relationships, but I never, ever saw that person. And that's the only reason I took them back. And then after I put that motorcycle under my name is when things got very abusive. And I don't know when the abuse became normal and frequent, but it just felt regular. And like, if I didn't give them my phone, they would choke me. They've headbutted me so much that I literally had a dent in my forehead. They've grabbed me so hard that I had bruises up and down my arm. And it got to a point where like people were seeing it at work and asking me, and I was lying. I had scars on my nose and under my eye. And we went to my grandma's, and my grandma was like, jokingly, my grandma was like, oh my God, like, did he hit you? And keep in mind, she really thought she liked this guy. And when we broke up the first time, she was like, oh man, I really liked him. Like, they had met and talked. And that's a key thing to note, is that narcissists are, and this is from what I'm still learning, so if I'm wrong and I label it wrong, then let me know, but they are so good at putting on this like they're this amazing person and like this nice guy, charismatic, like they know how to catch people's eye and just be so charming. And it's funny because even one time he was like, yeah, this girl, like, she tried to hit on me, and she was like, oh man, do you have a girlfriend? And he was like, yeah. And then he was like, yeah. She said, oh man, she's so lucky. It's like, if only you fucking knew. Like, I'm so lucky to, like, you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes of like this literally abusive, toxic, terrible person, like on one note selling me this fantasy and telling me they love me so much and that they want this future with me and they want to take care of me, and then with a flip of the switch, it's choking, bashing my head, grabbing me, like literally, like again, back to the marks on my nose, it was from the motorcycle helmet, and I thought I did that to myself. And he literally was like, why would you think you did that? I did that. And I was like, just so casual, like almost where it was like funny, like, huh, like you thought you did that to yourself? Like, no, like what? Like I did that to you, you know? And so then, yeah, my grandma's jokingly saying that, and then we both look at each other, and I was like, oh my God, no. I was like, no, like, I don't even remember what I said. I think I said I fell or something. And then when we left there, he was so scared. He was like, you're not going back there. We're not going back there. Like, he was so scared to go to jail again. He's like, I'm going to go back to jail because of you. I'm going to go back to jail because of you. And I don't know why. When this started happening, I never called the cops. And it wasn't even a thought in my head when he put his hands on me to call the cops. And I think that's where he probably realized, like, oh, this girl isn't going to call the cops. This girl's going to lie to her grandma. She's going to lie to people for me. Like, she's a rider. She's a ride or die. But yeah, when we left my grandma's, he was like, we're not going back there. And then he was so, I'm telling you, like, so scared. Like, literally, like, shitting his fucking pants. Like, I'm going to go to jail because of you. I'm going to go to jail because of you. Like, we can't go back there. 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 Like, was just so unwell for the rest of the day. And I went back there a couple days later, and I told her, I doubled down, and I was like, okay, I didn't want to tell you, but, like, I got in a fight. And, yeah, I was out drinking. And she was like, oh, my God, Samantha, like, what? Like, and she fully believed it, and I knew she believed it. And I just told him, I was like, you don't have to worry. Like, me consoling, just, like, think about how fucked up that is. I'm consoling someone that's scared because they put their hands on me. And it's so sad that, like, why am I protecting someone that was never going to protect me? And me protecting someone that literally was the reason I was getting hurt and abused. But I wanted to protect them for what? Literally for what? And it sucks because it's like that, and I feel like it's like, oh, well, because you're a good person, you're a person. It's like, but that doesn't make me feel like I deserve props or anything. Like, I don't deserve props because I'm a good person for protecting someone. It's like, what the fuck is wrong in my head? Anyways, and so, yeah. And then he was like, you can't go to school. Like, you need to cover up your bruises. You need to wear long sleeves at work. Like, da 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 da. And again, like, this was so normal, and so it felt so regular that it just was like, it just was regular. And he broke so much stuff in my apartment. I have an $1,100 bill from it, from all the damages that he caused. And there's like 2 or 3 specific nights that are just like the nights I'll never forget. And one of them being that, like, he was essentially holding me hostage and like wouldn't let me leave. So this is where I drew the line. Unfortunately, I didn't draw the line at him putting his hands on me. I drew the line at him lying to me about his baby mama, ex-girlfriend, whatever the fuck drama. And I didn't even go through his phone. It had popped up when he left his phone. It was like Snapchat or something, or a text. I don't even know. It was one or both of them. And I confronted him about it, and he like deleted the app and got out of the car. We were driving home from work, and he deleted the app, got out of the car, and I literally was like asking him, like, what was that? Like, who was that? Like, whatever. And he so much was like, I can't remember exactly. Again, it's that night was so blurry, but it just was like, well, I deleted it. Like, there's nothing, like, da 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 da. But I knew that it had to do with his ex-baby mama and whatever. And so I left. I don't even know if it was his baby. It might have been a girl. I don't know what the fuck it was. But it was something shady about involving, like, maybe cheating or something. Anyway, so I left him there. And I left and I went home. And it was probably like 2, 3 a.m. And I went home and I hid something of his that I paid for. And that he really was very valuable to him. And because I don't know, why did I hide it? I probably hid it because I knew that was like some leverage I could have on him, and I don't know. So I left him 3 a.m., went home, and he was calling me, just, I'm so sorry, like, oh, my iced coffee. Yeah. He was like, please, like, I'm cold, like, no one's answering, like, da 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 da. And it obviously was that bad for me to leave him. Like, I knew that it was some cheating, fucked up shit going on, that I left him and went home. And then he was being just over the phone, like, I love you, I'm sorry. Basically, probably like, I'll make this right, like, whatever bullshit, for me to finally be like, okay, like, you know what, like, okay, fine, like, I'll come pick you up. So he's being so sweet, right? And then as soon as I pick him up, like, that sweetness and I love you and I'll make this right was just not in the room with us. That, like, he again turned into this just terrible fucking person, and essentially was like threatening me on the way home. And then when we got home, I think that was the night that he wouldn't let me leave. And that again, there were a few nights of like shit being broken and thrown and whatever. But I think that was the night that, like, I gave him his stuff back. And I was gonna give him his stuff back, but I was just like, I think I tried to sleep in my car after. So I had essentially I had to run away from him, and I literally ran out into like the outside hallway of my old apartment, and he chased me. And I remember him grabbing me, and he threw me, like, forcefully pushed me on the ground, and he went to yeah, he forcefully pushed me on the ground, and he went to kick me, literally like curb stomp my ass, and he didn't. But he grabbed me, pushed me on the ground, and I just remember him just being like, please, please, give me it back, like, and then saying like, I love you, like I'll make this right, or whatever the fuck he was saying. But he wouldn't let me go, and I literally ran away from him. Like I ran on the sidewalk by the main street up into by like the liquor store, so much as a person driving by was like, are you okay? And I was just hysterical, and I was like, yes, I'm okay, yes, I'm okay. And then I was running in front of the stores, and he grabbed me again, and then I called my friend, and she was just telling him like, let her go, and he wouldn't let me go. And then he finally let me go, and I run to like the back way of my house, into my house. I think I probably grabbed my purse, and I think that was the night that I was begging him. I was like, okay, like, I think he thought I was gonna call the cops, and I was like, I'm not gonna call the cops, please just let me sleep in my car. And I was begging him, I was like, please. But he was like grabbing me and wouldn't let me leave the apartment, sat me on the bed and was like, and yeah, this is when he was like, please baby, please, like I love you so much, I love you, like please baby, like da da da, just all bullshit. And I was just like, no, please just let me sleep in my car, I won't call the cops, please. So he walks me down to my car, and he literally slept on the hood of my car. And I had imprints of him on the hood of my car from him literally sleeping on there. And I slept in there, and I had work okay, yeah, now this is it's coming back. I slept in my car that night, and I had work the next morning, so I probably slept like 3 hours. Got up, went inside, he was sleeping on the bed, and I was getting ready for work. And then I had a feeling just like something was off, or that he was going to be packing his stuff to move out, or like, I think I knew he was packing his stuff to move out, but I was worried that he was going to like steal stuff or whatever. And so I got off work early. I didn't tell him, and I just like showed up at home, and he literally was like, what the fuck are you doing here? Why are you here? He was like, I knew you were going to pull some shit like this. I knew you were going to get off early. And then that day he packed his stuff, and his brother came to pick him up. And where was I? I think I was down at my car. I don't know what it was, but I was down there too long, and he was packing his stuff, and his brother was coming, and I had this gut instinct of like, he's gonna take something of mine, or he's gonna take my Gucci bag. I have like a Max, stop it! I have like a $1,300. Get your bone. Like a $1,300 Gucci bag that he loved and would wear all the fucking time. And I don't know why I felt like he's gonna try to take that. And literally, I walk in the apartment. I was like, where's my Gucci bag? And he was like, and his brother was driving away with their truck. And I literally run out the apartment, run into the main street. Thank God it was a red light. I literally opened his brother's truck door. I grabbed my fucking Gucci bag. My ex was came behind me and like grabbed the Gucci bag. And then, because he had the important stuff in there that he needed. And then after that, we literally just, I think after that, yeah. After that is when he left. He took my motorcycle, and that's when he essentially stole the motorcycle. And because I told him I wanted it back, I needed that motorcycle, and he wouldn't give it to me. He changed his number. And when I say essentially, I mean he did, because I did not allow him. And he changed his phone number, so I was like, oh my God, he's never going to come back. And so that's when I filed the police report. And I ended up eventually getting the motorcycle back, and there's a lot more that I could talk about what happened after that and after that relationship. But just to say that, like, when I had therapy on Monday is when I fully broke down over bringing up the abuse again. And it just, a part of me feels like, do I even need to be sad over it? Do I even need to be traumatized over it? Do I even, you know what I mean? Can I just move on? Can I just, you know, be okay? And then obviously bringing it up in therapy, and I fully bawled, and like for a long time after, well, that was only what, November, December, and it's January. So basically all of November, December was kind of me reliving it, and I coped a lot by still drinking, still going out, and just being around people. And it's like there were a lot of times that I couldn't even get a phone call because I was scared that it was gonna be him or whatever, which there's other phone calls I was getting, but I can go into that at another time when I feel comfortable opening up about that and what happened after the relationship. But I don't know, going through a relationship of like someone being this such amazing guy and then turning into a human being that I'd never met before, but to the outside world was just this charming, charismatic, everyone lusted over him, and he was just this scary person that was beating me. And like I have a video of him saying like, I've never put my hands on someone like I did to you. And I don't even know. And also him saying like, at one point he was like, why would you tell anybody about this? Like, shouldn't you be embarrassed? Like it's my fault that I'm getting abused. And I don't know. I genuinely think that, I think after putting that motorcycle under my name, I was just scared. And I knew I couldn't afford it. And I know I can't afford it. And it's literally the one thing since this relationship that has made me like not want to get up. And I just want to sleep and not think. I just want to sleep so I don't have to think. And like the amount of anxiety over it has been debilitating. And it's just like I have no will or drive to do anything because of this thing that has stressed me out so much. And I'm someone that's has always stressed about finances, even though I've been okay and been supporting myself since I was 17, 10 years, that I've still always felt like just not financially okay. Even though I've had money, I bought a car, paid off a car, I don't know, I think it's just my confidence in a lot of areas is lacking. So when you meet someone like this that's so ready to take advantage of someone like me that is so loving and caring and giving and will forget about myself to help you, they take full advantage of that. And it just was such high highs and such low lows, and I don't know, I might have not done a good job at really describing it, but the one thing that probably saved me was moving in with my roommate. And I guess I can just give myself props enough to realize, like, you know what, like, I can't be living alone right now. Like, I need to surround myself with good people, because clearly when I'm living alone, I'm letting terrible people move in and toxic people in my life. And so that's probably a big reason why I got out of this relationship and never went back after that. After we broke up and after I moved, I've not seen them since, and I hopefully plan to never have to see them again. And I'll never get back into a relationship with someone that can't support me, but that's the thing though, is I feel like I need to put myself in a spot where I can fully confidently support myself and confidently think I can support myself, so that I'm not jumping at anyone that is trying to offer me that. And I realize when I'm in relationships, I just put so much of my time and energy into my relationships that I forget about myself. And then, they see me I'm up here, I'm working hard, and then they want to bring me down here. So I really just need to try to have a balance of like having good people in my life, but also still focusing on myself and putting myself in a good position so someone can't come into my life and then bring me down here, you know? But yeah, I feel like there's a lot more to say about that relationship. And it really came to a point where I was like disassociating while I was driving and stuff. Like I was just so numb. I was so numb over everything that I would just like zone out while I was driving. And I just felt so numb. And they also, like, there was a time there was a time when I didn't want to have like, I have a really hard time saying essay, or if I was essayed, or if that was essay, just because I feel like I never want to be a victim in my life of anything, and I never want to have pity felt towards me and the things that I've been through, because did I put myself through those things from my choices? But there was a specific moment of when I didn't want to have intercourse, and I was begging them nonstop to please, like, please don't, please, I don't want to, please. And they were like, shh, it's okay, like, it'll be okay. And I just was like, please. And this person's fucking strong and big, okay, and literally just made me. And I just remember crying, and they literally told me that they like get off on that. And they jokingly had said one time, they were like, oh yeah, like the therapist I talked to said that that's like our pissed mindset to like want to do that when someone else doesn't want to. And then he was like, I'm just kidding. And then we like laughed. I think he laughed, and I was just like, oh. So I don't know. I don't know what the healing process of something like this looks like. I know that I already deal with a lot of anxiety and a lot of, sadness just from childhood and whatever. And it's just like, I keep adding this stress into my life that I don't need, because I want to help someone in a way that I wish someone would have helped me. And, I realized that I don't seek validation from like a general public or a general male public, but when I'm with my partner, I definitely see that I'm seeking that validation from them. Like I want them to be proud of me. Like, oh, I did this for you. Oh, I made you food. I did your laundry. Whatever. I want to feel that validation of like they're like happy with me. Like I remember growing up, I would like clean my grandpa's room, and I just was so excited to see how happy he was about that, and it made me feel so good. And I don't want to put my like purpose anymore. Come here, Baba. I don't want to put my purpose anymore in like fulfilling a man. I know that I want to be a mom. I know that I want to raise kids, and I know how like domesticated I am, of like I want to clean the whole house. I want to make all your meals. I want to do everything for you at home so that my partner's happy. But it's like that can't be my purpose, is taking care of a fucking man. I need to invest my time into myself, into what I want to do, and find purpose in something that isn't making someone else happy and fulfilled, because I'm not even fulfilled myself. So yeah, this is a really long video. I feel like a lot of rambling. You probably had to listen to it in like 5x speed because of how slow and scatterbrained my thoughts were. But yeah, I don't know what the healing process of something like this is, but I know that motorcycle, and realizing how fucking insane and stupid that was my wake-up call. And I guess at least I didn't end up with a kid with this person, But, when people would say to me, like, oh, well, at least you're alive. It's like, is that even better than what's going on right now? As, like, fucking depressing as it sounds. But I know that I have a lot of life to live and a lot of life that I want to live, but I just want to live it. I don't want to just survive it. So we will get there. I know we will. And we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out because, like, I've been too stubborn to... a lot of my stubbornness has held me back in life, but I feel like my stubbornness has also kept me alive. So, I just know that, like, no one's coming to save me, as much as I've always hoped that, like, someone would hear me without me talking. But I realized that I have to do the work, and that's why I finally started therapy. And we're gonna go now because this baby is crying and he finished his bone. So yeah, thank you to whoever's watching, and if you've been through something like this, I'm sorry. And you just have to get out, and because it will never get better with someone like that unless you get out and leave. So yeah, all right.